showtime! Woo! 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 Silent and profiling. Woo! It's live and in color. Woo!
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report on the Buffalo Fan Base Network. I'm your host, Tommy, to the highest degree, to the TOP from the 313. And by my side is my main man, my toucan, Sam, the one they call the Apex Man, Mr. Mikey. What's going on, brother?
Happy Monday, brother. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. And we do got a special guest up in the crib, and that is the one, the only, Justice General. What's going on, Justice?
What's going on, y'all boys? Really dope to be here with you guys. Thank you for inviting me back. I wasn't able to stay for the whole stream last time, but I got y'all tonight.
Yes. I know you got through two. It was missed a good show. Mikey wasn't on his A game, but tonight, Justice, Mikey is bringing that A game tonight.
I am. I got some sleep. It's amazing what happens when you get some sleep. The first show, man. It was a long day. I'd started like at 2 a.m, and I was just running on fumes. But yeah, fun times.
Yep. Yeah, and tonight, guys. I can't see it. Justice is tonight we're doing 75 through 51 players, and we will start the show now. And let's go ahead and put up that screen. So we're going to give you a quick recap. Mikey, go ahead.
Yeah. So looking at our last show, at number 100 was Paul McGuire. At 99, we had Ryan Fitzpatrick / Fitzmagic. 98, we had Ryan Lindell. 97, we had Aaron Williams. 96, we had Jay Reemzerma. 95, Doug Flutie, the Magic Man. 94, Mark Pike. 93, Josh Reed. 92 was Tyrod Taylor, Mr. Break the Streak himself. 91, Roscoe Parrish. Number 90, Andrea Levitri. 89 was Mario Clark, who we found out, Justice, Mario Clark was a stud in his day. Yeah. It was cut down by injury early, but man, the more I read up about that guy was a stud. 88, Howard Ballard. 87, Peerless Price. 86, Drew Bledsoe. 85, Al B. Miller. 84, Tony Green. 83, the Beast himself, Richie Incognito. 82, Chris Kelsey. 81 was Leonard Smith. 80 was Marcellus Wiley. 79 was Marcel Darius, who put up a ton of stats in a short period of time. Like, I was surprised when we went through and looked at his numbers.
Yeah.
78, Jim Dunaway. 77, the future Hall of Famer himself, Jason Peters. And 76 was Charles Romes. Yeah,
and I mean, I gotta say, on the list, and I'll go around the room real quick. The Jason Peters at 77, I think we did him a little injustice there, and I think he should have been higher on the list. How much higher, that I don't know, because there's a lot. Listen, when we did this list, there's a lot of great talent that came through Buffalo, and that's what made this list very tough. But I kind of feel like we did him a little injustice there. He probably could have moved up some spots. I'll start with Justice. What do you think about the Jason Peters being at 77? Do you feel like maybe he should have stayed there or gone up a little bit?
Jason Peters he was a dog here, and there was a reason that he was so highly touted when Buffalo let him go. There was a reason why he's a Hall of Famer playing in Philly. He was a really good left tackle, and I definitely think he should have been higher. I can see him top 50.
Chris coming in saying Dunaway should have been higher. I got to be honest. It was really tough on some of the older players because obviously that wasn't my generation. And I was just going strictly on like what I read about them. And, that's why maybe this list, some older Buffalo Bills fans that remember these players might say, wait a minute, hold on. So I totally understand, if that was your era and you think he should have been higher. So, this isn't 100% like this is the list and you got to deal with it. This is just what we came up with. So, Mikey, on the Jason Peters, what do you feel about
No,
Peters?
I actually think he lands right about where he should. You have to remember, a lot of his success came, like he the last 2 years with Buffalo, he was really good. He made Pro Bowls. But, man, he really blossomed when he got out of Buffalo and went to Philly. He became the All-Pro and future Hall of Famer there.
Yeah, that's true.
If we look at what he did with the Bills, yes, I think 77 actually lands right about where he should be. If you take his whole body of work outside of Buffalo, okay, then you move him up. But then you move him up. But I'm good with it. Looking at the chat, some people are saying Flutie should have been higher.
Now I did a poll on that. Did you vote on that, guys? On the Flutie should have been higher or lower? Yeah. Okay, so Mookie Hawkins asked me, he said, hey man, you should put a poll out on Doug Flutie to see if people think Flutie should have been higher. So I did, and honestly, I think the results were like almost 50%. Mm-hmm. It was really even, very even. Some said yes, some said no. To be honest with you, I love Flutie, but it's just so tough with the amount of talent, man. I feel like where he was at was fair. I mean, could he have gone up a few spots? Sure, but a few, it's not like, you know what I mean? We're talking a few, at best. That's my opinion. You know what I mean? I don't think he would have went up 10 spots or 15 spots. There's a lot of good talent. You'll see that when we get to the next, part of this list where it's like, okay, it's tough for me to say, okay, player 74, you know what I mean? With the stats, what he did. Now, Doug Flutie's in the top 75. You got to take somebody out, so or move somebody down. So it's tough. It's tough, Mikey.
If you think about it, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? This is all subjective. Let's take Flutie. We're talking about Flutie in the top 100, and there were the fan base was split when Flutie was the quarterback battling Rob Johnson. So now, but I mean, not me either. I mean, I love Flutie, and he's a winner everywhere he's gone. He's won. He's just what he is. I think he lands right around, where he should be. Doug Flutie was with the Bills a few years. He wasn't a long-term. He wasn't a franchise guy. He came in. He was successful. He battled out. He got kind of done wrong. And depending on what article you read, either he was a fantastic locker room guy or he's a super selfish guy.
So Earl coming in about Price. I am a huge Peerless Price fan. Huge. I've probably done more clips on Twitter about Peerless Price, like video clips, but the problem is he didn't stay long enough. Like he did great.
Cents.
He did great work for a couple seasons. Really, the 2002 season was phenomenal. But then he went and got paid. Right, went to Atlanta, and then he came back years later and really wasn't the same Peerless Price. Though he was still good, he just wasn't that guy. Right, so I couldn't really put him there. Right, and that's why he's not higher on this list because. You got to take into consideration how long they were in Buffalo for, how many seasons, they produce numbers, stuff like that. And he just wasn't around long enough for him to be higher on this. And same with that we're talking about Doug Flutie. He was only around a couple seasons, and his numbers weren't like crazy impressive. He had not terrible, but pretty bad completion percentage. It wasn't great numbers, but his overall heart fight for the game, that's what made Doug Flutie unbelievable. Like, the team rallied around him. Everybody loved him on the field. So that's why he's on this list, and that's where he's at in my opinion.
I mean, think about it. These guys made the top 100 of all-time Bills.
Right.
So they're not being slighted. Even though Price comes in at 87, he's not being slighted. He made the list. Yeah. And, at the end of the day, it's subjective. The whole thing is subjective. We went through with the 100%. Fan base. We went through and we all ranked it, and this is how it came out. Yeah.
Justice, even like me, Justice, Mookie, we're just like, man, this guy should be here, but this guy should be Justice, right? Like it was not.
It was hard. It was a rough. Because if you want to move somebody else, that means you had to move somebody down. That's how it works.
And it got super confusing. Like at some points, like we were like forgetting guys and putting guys back on, and this leaving guys out that should have been left out. Like it was like, oh no, right? And then now this guy has to Now, I'll give you guys a quick example before we move on to the show, but Charles Clay was initially on this list, and he was at 100. And unfortunately, we had to take Charles Clay out to move somebody in. And I forget who it was, but long story short, that's another guy we could kind of go on debate with. Like Charles Clay put up some really good numbers, and he was our primary target, even though he was a tight end. You can't really say he played bad in Buffalo. He was our. We haven't had many good tight ends, and he was one of the better ones. So it was tough not putting him here, and initially he was, but we just there's only 100 guys. So anyways,
hold on
ahead,
before you move on, Justice. I want of this first group. Is there anybody that you would move up, like that you could see that you're like, I wish we would have moved that guy up? Is there anybody on this list?
For me, maybe Marcellus Wiley. He was pretty good. Jason Peters as well. So both of those two guys, I feel like probably should be higher, just based on how good they were. When they were with the Bills, and they both did it for a couple of years at a very, very high level. So I would like to see them. I would have liked to see them a little higher.
All right. Cool. Fair enough. All right, I'm gonna get remove that the recap there, and we're gonna start this thing off, man. So here we go, guys. Coming in at number 75, Jairus Byrd. All right, Mikey. So here we go with that.
Jairus Byrd played from 2009 to 2013. He was a safety, 3-time second-team All-Pro and Pro Bowl selection. 2009, 2012, and 2013. He was a member of the 2009 All-Rookie team. He ranks 10th in team history with 22 interceptions, and he led the NFL in 2009 with 9 picks as a rookie. This guy came in from Jump Street and got us started.
Yeah, the Birdman, man. I loved when we got him and we drafted him. I was like, damn, this guy's he's legit. This dude, he brung it every game, man. He had the energy. He had great hands. He was a ball hawk. And man, I was like, this dude's gonna stick around. And he didn't stick around too long, but the years he stayed with us, at least, we're all solid. What do you feel about Jairus Byrd, Justice?
Yeah, man. I mean, when I was a kid watching the Bills defense play, Jairus Byrd was the guy. Again, the offense wasn't really anything to write home about. We could never get the quarterback, blah, 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 blah. The same story every single year. But the defense was always legit, and getting this guy, Jairus Byrd, out there. I remember, his rookie season, he was absolutely ridiculous. Right there. It says 9 picks, and he led the NFL.
Right,
his rookie season was crazy. Like, I remember just watching, I was like, yo, he got another pick. Sitting in there watching the games with my brothers, and he was always making some type of game-changing play. So, and he was a hard hitter. He was not a fit.
Dude.
At all.
Yeah.
So, Jairus Byrd was a good one. It hurt to see me. It hurt me to see him go to the Saints, but clearly he wanted big money. He wanted to play for.
It happens.
Daniel Garth comes in and says it right. He's like, he was a ball hawk on his rookie deal. Then he got that big money from the Saints. He left our scheme, which he fit perfect in, and he kind of disappeared. He wasn't the same player after he got that money.
Yeah, he didn't stick around the league. I don't think he stuck around long either.
I think he played a couple of years with the Saints. Yeah. I think he ended up with 1 year with the Titans, and then he was gone.
Yeah,
he got paid.
Yeah.
Yep. I actually got it.
Didn't happen with was Gilmore.
Yep. I actually got a clip here, so let's play a little clip here of the Birdman himself.
Brunel. Oh, picked off. See you later, Jairus Byrd. Just that quick. Jairus Byrd hawked
on the ground. They have to get better. 2nd and 4. Schaub over the middle and picked off. Intercepted. Guess who? Jairus Byrd. The man has a nose for the football. He does a great job at reading the quarterback. You watch him right in the middle of the screen there. He does a good job driving on the ball, and he has great hands. Can you give somebody Defensive Rookie of the Year in Week 8? He's meant more to this defense in the last 3 or 4 weeks than any player, and he's just playing with a lot of confidence right now.
Can you
Holy
give him
nostalgia.
the rookie of the defense in week 8? I mean, dude came out swinging, man, his rookie season, guys.
Hey, we also have a clip from my man Bruce Nolan here on Jairus Byrd, if you guys want.
Okay, cool. Yeah, go ahead and upload that.
It's right here.
I'm okay with this. The Buffalo Bills historically were not known as having impact safeties. And for a long time, there was kind of okay, who's the best player on this Bills team? And the answer ended up being the punter. It was Brian Moorman for a lot of time. But when Jairus Byrd broke on the scene and had a ton of ball production, you could make an argument that even though a lot of it was simply being in the right place at the right time, and there is a certain amount of luck that goes along with catching tip passes, but there's a certain amount of awareness and understanding ball trajectory that goes along with that. Jairus Byrd was, for a long time, someone who could be in that category as one of the best players on the team. And just like you look at Hall of Famers and go, okay, were they at any point considered one of the best players in the league at their position? And then how long did that happen? Right? Because that's what excellence is. Excellence is how good were you multiplied by how long you were that good. And when you look at Jairus Byrd, relative to the team, which is what we're talking about here, relative to the team, he was one of the best players on this team for a good amount of time. And when he left to become a New Orleans Saint, he became rightfully one of the top paid players in the NFL. Now, injuries derailed his career after that, but we're talking about the time with the Bills. So I have no problem with him being where he is on this list. I understand him being lower because his tenure was less, as opposed to someone like a Micah Hyde or a Jordan Poyer or a Henry Jones or a place like this. I'm okay with all of this, and I'm okay with his ranking at 75.
Absolutely. I love his take, by the way,
Shout out to Bruce
on
Nolan.
his ranking.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I love his take on his ranking. I love his take on how Jairus Byrd was pretty much on an all-star player when he was with the Buffalo Bills. He was the team. On a bad team, he was the player besides Brian Moorman on some bad football teams. Mikey, what do you think about Bruce's comments there?
I love him. He hits the nail, the nail on the head or the head on the nail or whatever, however you want to say that. He nails every fan's, opinion on that. Like Jairus Byrd walked into this league, fit our defense perfectly, and made plays. We went from Brian Moorman being the only Pro Bowler to having a stud in the secondary who was one of the best in the league until he left.
Yep, no doubt. All right, guys, so we're going to move on to 74 now, and let's get to 74, guys. And 74 is our man, the Snowman, Dion Dawkins.
You want to put the thing back up?
Yep.
All right.
I got
Dion
you,
Dawkins played from 2017 to current. He is our franchise left tackle. He's a 2021 Pro Bowler, has started 74 of his 80 games during his tenure. He's going to keep moving up the rank. This guy is about as solid as a left tackle as you can ask for. Came in as a guard, tried him at right tackle. Cordy Glenn went down his rookie year, slid him to left tackle, and he hasn't moved. Supplanted him. Matter of fact, because he was so well, we were able to trade Cordy Glenn to move up in the 2018 draft to get Josh Allen.
Yeah, definitely. Justin, what do you feel about Dion being at 74, man?
I mean, Snowman, Dawkins is a very consistent force there at left tackle, and that's obviously the most important position outside of quarterback because you need to protect your star player. And him and Josh have a great relationship, and kind of the whole thing and getting smashed, by the Tennessee Titans defensive line at one play. He made the Pro Bowl this year, so I mean he's doing something right, and he's been a solid, consistent force for us. And I think because our team is so good now, you have to be a good player at some capacity to even be on it, let alone be a starter, let alone be a captain, a team leader. So that says a lot about who Dion Dawkins is as a player, and I think that he is rightfully here on this list at this point. and is going to be, climbing a lot higher in years to come.
Yeah, most definitely. And one thing about Dion is let's be fair here. He really only had one player next to him that helped him for many years. That was Richie Incognito, right? So Richie was that guy next to him. After that, it's been kind of like this guy, that guy's, Feliciano, now, Bates, this guy, that guy, Cody Ford. So he hasn't really had a guy next to him that could help him out, right? So I kind of feel like he's been stuck with alternating left guards, and it's helped that now that he has an all-pro in Saffel.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike, you need it, bro.
Sorry, guys, my thing went out real quick. I do got a clip real quick on Dion. It was very tough for me to find clips on Dion Dawkins, but I got a good one.
It's hard to
You already know University.
That's reported eligible Ryan Bates. Allen is rolling. He throws back to the corner of the end zone, and it's a touchdown for Dion Dawkins. Dion Dawkins, the starting left tackle, also reported eligible with the extra lineman Bates. And the second-round pick out of Temple gets the touchdown reception.
He loves getting touchdowns, man.
I love that. Big man touchdown. It's always great.
Offensive linemen always love getting touchdowns. Let's go to the chat here. Wild Buffalo Matthew, man. Glad to have you here. I don't know if I've ever seen you before, man. Thanks for joining the show, man. Scott coming in. Agree. Daniel. Okay, so Daniel was talking to him. All right. So we're going to move on to the next, and we're going to go to 73 now. Let's see. 73. All right, here we go. And guys, this guy is the man. Coming in at 73 from the U, Willis McGahee.
Willis McGahee played from 2004 to 2006 with the Bills. He was the first running back taken in that draft. 2007 Pro Bowl selection, started 40 of his 46 games during his tenure. He averaged 1,289 yards and 8 TDs per season while with the Bills, and then went to Baltimore and continued that until he finally broke down. But man, the fact that he was able to do what he did after that devastating knee injury in the national championship game, the dude was a stud.
Oh, yeah. Dude, Justice, what do you think about McGahee at 73, man?
Listen, man, when I was a kid watching the Bills, again, same thing with the whole no quarterback and the offense not being a great thing, right? We had some good running backs, and Willis McGahee was a beast. Willis McGahee, was out there. He was running past defenders. He was running over defenders. He was always tough, always got a couple extra yards, in those all dark blue uniforms, with number 21 and the throwback uniforms as well. He was always, not always, but for the most part, at least for me watching, he was the most special part of the offense, and was the part of the offense I look forward to the most because, it wasn't J.P. Losman, that's for sure. So
hey,
I was
come on.
Really excited. Like, I was really excited to see 21 running the ball, and I was so mad when he left. So yeah, I like Willis McGahee here.
So everyone knows I'm a huge Hurricane fan. I watched that game, obviously, where he got the knee injury, which was the most devastating. That was probably one of the worst I've ever seen, to be honest with you. I thought his career was done. Most people did. And for Buffalo, I got to say this too, for Buffalo Bills to take a chance on him, that was, I think, a shocked a lot of people. And we had, if you guys remember, we already had Travis Henry, who just was coming off a good season. So we had running backs in place already. And Fred Jackson as well. So I think actually Fred was on the team at that year. So for them to take the chance on him where they did in the first round, and by the way, he didn't even play his first. I don't think he even played the first season. He was injured, so he had to wait for the whole
end of the season. No, he came back at the end of the season.
Yeah. So pretty much missed that first season. So I do got a clip here, Willis McGahee. So I'm gonna go ahead and play that for you guys.
Allen with two big shots, one on Winslow, and then this one. Oh my goodness!
Oh, Lord. That is a serious knee injury for Willis McGahee.
Yep.
With the 23rd selection in the 2003 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Willis McGahee, running back, University of Miami.
Hey there! Yeah! You can hear it from Orchard Park. Let's go Buffalo!
C-slack for the Bills. McGahee back in there. Here's McGahee. He's got a lane. Willis McGahee explodes. McGahee will take it the distance. Touchdown, Buffalo. He is a jet killer.
Jet killer. I used to like his helmet too. He wore the tinted helmet.
The visor.
Always,
that visor.
Yeah, the visor. Yeah. He was, I'm telling you, man, he was a hell of a player. It sucks that he did retire a Raven, by the way. So I know a lot of Buffalo Bills fans are a little salty with him on that. And I know he said a few things about Buffalo, but he's been back, by the way, guys. He's come on the show with Steve Tasker and them. So I think all's been cleared up with that whole he hates Buffalo, thing or whatever was said. And I think he'll I always love Willis McGahee, so I don't have any hate towards McGahee or whatever he said. A lot of players didn't want to play for Buffalo. Let's be real. So he's not the first, maybe the first to outright say it, but that's just the way it was, guys. All right. So anything else on McGahee, guys?
Yeah. So
It's hard
think
to be
about
mad
this.
at players for not wanting to give Buffalo. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, think about this. Frank Gore was supposed to be starting the year Clinton Portis went off and came out, but he tore his ACL. The next year, Frank Gore tore his other ACL, and then Willis McGahee came out, and then Frank Gore started his Hall of Fame career.
Right, which is unbelievable too. By
The
the way,
fact-
Frank
the
Gore's
fact-
another story.
Yeah, but the fact that Frank Gore allowed two All-Pro running backs to have careers because he got hurt is amazing. Also, that Miami team, our offensive coordinator was the quarterback.
Yeah, and it was probably the greatest team ever, by the way. Just saying. A lot of people say that. So, all right, we're going to move on to 72, guys. 72, coming in at 72, big Pat Williams.
Pat Williams played from 1997 2003 with the Bills, defensive tackle. He was a Pro Football Reference second team of all 2000 team. Started 64 of 107 games during his tenure, including 60 of his last 61 games while with Buffalo. Had 378 tackles, 13 sacks, 5 fumble recoveries, 1 interception, and 1 touchdown.
Yeah, that dude, Pat Williams is a monster.
And then he went to the Vikings and did even better.
I mean, he was a big dude. Like, that's what linemen should look like. When we had our line last year, I'm like,
he was the one tech that we've all been asking for before they really called him one techs. That's what he was.
Right. Dude, you weren't getting past Pat Williams. Like, if Pat Williams gets you, you're done. Like, you ain't going anywhere with Pat Williams. So, like that guy was just a beast, man. Like you said, when he left too, he was just unbelievable. Justice, you remember Pat, Big Pat?
Absolutely, man. Him and Sam Adams, down there on the line, absolutely, man. Again, just watching the games as a kid, and I think was it him or was it Sam Adams that had the interception? I think it might have been Sam Adams, but those guys were huge, like big, huge, like they look like me now, So it was funny to see, but they were some of my favorite players, especially being a big kid. Those were the guys that I was looking at on the football field. So yeah, man, Pat Williams was real special to me.
That's
100%.
That's back when you had those monster D tackles. Nowadays, you see them, much thinner than they were back then. Back then, they were just big uglies,
monsters.
and monsters just wreaking havoc.
And I used to love when they used to wear like the neck rolls. Like I was watching the big neck rolls or the big neck pad that goes behind their helmet. Which if I'm a player, I swear, I don't know if they don't allow those anymore, but I'd be wearing that pad thing behind my helmet all the time, man. Like in case you hit your head on the ground or whatever. But they just made them look meaner when they had those rolls, those neck rolls and stuff. Like Unbelievable. Earl coming in, by the way, says, in my opinion, we still haven't replaced him. I'll tell you what, Earl. This season, we got some big boys. I don't know if they're as big as Pat Williams, but we gotten a lot bigger in size on that line compared to previous seasons. Wouldn't you agree with that, Mikey?
Yeah, we do this year, yeah. But Kyle Williams came in, and he was a fantastic
Kyle too.
tackle.
Yeah.
Marcel Darius put up a ton of numbers.
Darius?
So we've had some studs.
I agree.
Now, do we have anybody is the size of those two mountain men? No. But we've had some awesome defensive tackles since.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. That came through here. Yep. All right, we're gonna go ahead and move on to 71, guys, and another one of my favorite players. Here we go, 71, Travis Henry.
Travis Henry played from 2001 to 2004 before moving on to the Titans and then getting into some legal trouble. Was a Pro Bowl selection in 2002. Ranks 5th in team history with 3,849 yards, 7th in rushing touchdowns with 27. His 1,438 yards in 2002 are the 5th highest in team history. His 13 TDs in 2002 are tied for 2nd highest. That 2002 team was stacked.
Dude,
how did we not make the playoffs?
8-8, and we talked about this on the last show we did, Mikey. And Justice, you may not know this, but interesting stat here in the 2002 team. Because I saw a football that Peerless Price posted on Twitter. I'm like, and I read it, and I'm like, what is it? And they're the only team. I don't know if it's been broken, but it was an NFL record. First team in history to have 3 guys break the 1,000-yard mark in a game, meaning they all got their 1,000 yards in like week whatever. So he went over 1,000. Eric Moles went over 1,000. Peerless Price went over 1,000, all in the same game.
Crazy. That's wild.
Yeah, so pretty dope. And Mikey hit it right on the head. That 2002 team. Think about the stats real quick. So Drew Bledsoe over 4,000 yards. I think over 4,500. Eric Moles almost 1,300 yards. Peerless Price almost 1,300 yards. Travis Henry almost 1,500 rushing yards. Right? Look at the amount of touchdowns. We're begging for that now. Like let's be real. If Devin Singletary can get even close to this, and Diggs can get over 1,000, which he will, and then another player over 1,000, which maybe, right? That's a hell of a season to have 2 guys over 1,000 yards each, a running back over, and then we're not even talking about Josh Reed, who had 600 yards that season. So that was a phenomenal team, just badly coached, and that goes to show you how coaching can absolutely destroy a football team, and that's why that team was 8-8, and it shouldn't have been. But anyways, Justice, anything on Travis Henry?
Yeah, I mean, I see. When I was a kid, it was hard to discern the difference between a good and a bad football player. But what I heard was that he fumbled a lot, but he was still obviously the bell cow for us, and he made a lot of things happen. So I do think he's worthy of this, especially when you look at his numbers. They're very comparable to some of the better running backs here, in Bill's history. So I think he's very deserving of this spot here.
100%. Earl, you're coming in with the defense. Yeah, the defense wasn't good, but it wasn't. I didn't think it was the worst. And by the way, you know who the head coach was? Greg Williams, the defensive mastermind. So whose fault is that? The defensive coach who couldn't get the defense to play better? But I do got a clip right here of Travis Henry. I'm going to go ahead and play for you guys real quick.
Another attention getter was running back Travis Henry, number 20, who recorded his first 1,000-yard rushing season and then ran for 438 more yards. As a rusher, he ranked number 5 in the NFL in 2002 and number 5 in Bills history.
The 15 to 18-yard routes in the Bills offense.
There's Henry inside the 10, inside the 5, still on his feet, into the end zone, touchdown. 14 yards as Travis Henry scores his 2nd touchdown of the game, now has 100.
Yeah, we always had good running backs back then. Do you remember that? Like those team, Travis Henry, Thurman Thomas, Fred Jackson, Willis McGahee, CJ Spiller. Even CJ Spiller put up decent yards. right? Beast mode. Like we always drafted running backs, and usually early.
Yep.
And they didn't stick around long. 3-4 seasons, 2. But we were drafting running backs like crazy. You remember that, Mikey? Like that was the thing back then.
Like,
running
I
backs.
think we drafted McGahee, Spiller, and Lynch all within like a 4 or 5 year span.
Yeah, they weren't far from each other. Now, Fred, I think Fred was a walk on or a late round pick, right?
Yeah, he was an
undrafted out of Cole College.
Yeah,
right.
He went and played in NFL Europe for the Bills. And that's how he made his bones to get over in preseason, and just they couldn't take him off the field.
Yeah, yep. All right, so we're gonna move on to number 70, guys. Move on here, and here we go to 70. Coming at 70, Leotis McKelvin.
Leotis McKelvin played from 2008 to 2016. He was a cornerback, kick returner, and punt returner. He was a member of the 2008 All-Rookie team. Ranks 3rd in team history with 1,021 punt return yards and 2nd in kickoff return yards with 2,471 with 4 return touchdowns. Holds the record with 1,468 kickoff returns in 2008. He also had 13 interceptions during his 98 games with the Bills. However, I will never forgive him for that fumble against the Patriots. As much as I loved the guy, that's the, like you say, Leotis McKelvin, I think of the fumble against the Patriots.
Yeah, I get it, but there's every player, even the great ones, have all had.
I know, but that's the one that's.
But I know, I agree with that. But Leotis McKelvin, even though, and it sucks that one play sticks out because it kind of like
it
in your mind,
overshadows his career,
and it shouldn't because he really was good. He was a good corner. Not only was he a good corner, he was a very good kick returner, punt returner. Like that dude, like he brung it every game. I thought like he brung the energy, and he could hit hard. He talked shit, right?
Yeah.
So, Justice, what do you think about Leotis?
Yeah, man, the boy out of Troy. I remember his draft night. I was looking at it like, who the hell is this guy? But he came on and he ended up being one of the better, rookie cornerbacks, and then he ended up being one of the better young cornerbacks. And I don't remember what happened or when he left, but I do remember him making a lot of plays for us. He was a very good return man. He did have that unfortunate incident versus New England. I still remember very vividly, but overall, I would say that he has a positive impact in my memory. But I totally understand why he wouldn't for people. So. But I do like Leotis McKelvin. He was a big fan of him. My little brother was too.
He was a Southern boy too, so he had that Southern slang. So if you guys ever heard him talk, like you gotta really like pay attention because it was that deep Southern slang. So I got a clip here of Leotis. I'm gonna play real quick for you guys.
Ready to go. Shit, it's time to go out there to play against the Dolphins. We gotta go out there and go shit. Really true, we're gonna beat their ass. Point blank play, period.
He should have a crack at this one. McKelvin from the 21. Got a block on the corner. McKelvin in the open field. He is gone. Touchdown, Buffalo. 79 yards.
That's Leotis. I did a lot for the team, man.
He was a character, and I'll go to the chat real quick. Daniel Garis tells me I need to forgive him. You know what?
Yeah.
You're right. It's time to let that go, because he was a fantastic player, but that one broke my heart, man. I hated the Patriots so much.
Yeah, dude. I agree. It did hurt, but you gotta.
You're right. You're right. It's time to let it
did.
go. Just like with Levi Wallace, it's time to let it go. You know,
Yeah,
they were good Bills. Thank you for your service.
Any last words for Leotis, Justice?
Nah, I mean, I think he's deserving of this spot. So
yeah,
I'm excited to see it.
All right. So we're gonna kick it off to number 69. 69 coming at 69. Joe Devlin.
Joe Devlin played from 76 to 82, and then had a second stint from 84 to 89, offensive tackle. His 191 games played are second most in team history. He started every game he played, all 177 after his rookie year. So
yeah, I didn't know much about him. I'll be honest with you, it was a little bit before my time. But I obviously I did my little homework. I also heard of him. He was just basically a warrior out there. From everything I heard, he didn't get hurt much. Like the dude just played and grinded.
He got hurt. He just played through it.
Right, play through it. Correct. You're right, Mikey. So he played hurt. He just didn't. You wouldn't know because he just kept going. So just a tough guy. Once again, I keep saying those guys back in those days, the early days of football. I'm talking about like 60s, 70s, 80s, early in that. Like those dudes, man. Like the rules were limited, and they were biting fingers and like they were doing a lot of grimy stuff.
Helmet slaps, that's talking about ringing someone's bell. Getting smacked upside the head.
Concussions. What was a concussion? Right? The coach would be like, "Get in there, go back out there, sissy." Right? It was just a different time. Right? There was no protocol. Take him to the side. Wrap that ankle up. That thing. Your hand's broken. Who cares? Go back out there. So
also,
just
it was really hard to come up with stats for offensive linemen. They don't come up with those flashy things. So you got to dig deep to see, what kind of longevity did they have? What kind of impact did they have? Especially when you dig into someone who played before my time. Like I didn't watch him. So I was able to go through, read some about him, find some things that put him here. Because when you start stacking these guys in the order, you get to a guy like Joe Devlin, who we don't know a whole lot about, and you're like, well, why was he above this guy? That guy, you have stats for that guy. This guy was a beast. He started 177 straight games back when there was no protection. It was beat your man by any means necessary.
Especially at that position. Like that position. That's why I said Bruce Smith's record is, I just don't think it's breakable but I give him more credit. And like I said, I know Tom Brady's old or whatever, but he was 41 when he retired. And like, he was at a much grueling position than quarterback, especially now when quarterbacks can't be touched. Those offensive linemen, defensive linemen are constantly battling. And to stay healthy, and for, like I said, this guy here, 176 game, that's wild, man. Like, just to stay healthy that long, that many games, you got to give the guy credit, man.
He didn't start a single game his rookie year. After his rookie year, he was inserted and he never left.
Yeah, it's wild, man. Wild. Justice, anything on Joe? Big Joe?
Yeah, man. You just don't see that often. So, shout out to him for his Iron Man ability.
Right. All right, we're going to move on to another old school guy that I don't know much about, but here we go. Number 68, Ron McDowell.
Ron McDowell played from 1963 to 1970, defensive end. Second team member of the AFL's all-time team, two-time AFL All-Star, first team AFL All-Pro in 1966, and he played 8 years with the Bills. Anybody who has that many, AFL all-times or all-stars or all-pros, I didn't watch him, but you got to respect his game.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, 100%. Listen, AFL obviously way before my day, but Buffalo I think won 2 championships, so they were dominant in the AFL. And this guy was part of those teams, and they're all stars, like the Pro Bowl, right? So he's two-time Pro Bowler All-Star, and he's an all-time second team. So
all time AFL. And think about all the
Exactly.
great players that came through that league.
Right.
And he was the second team member of the all-time team. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I remember watching him when I was a kid, and he was special.
I'm like, that was about 20 years before you were born, brother.
20. Tried third.
20,
25?
25?
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, hey, look at those numbers and the stats, and you know, like Tommy said, if you look at those championship teams, you will see legit, like top to bottom, you'll see a bunch of names that are on this list. So, you know,
oh yeah, 100%, and that's why they're there, folks. So,
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go on to number 67 real quick, guys, and here we go to 67. Coming at 67, our guy Lorenzo Alexander.
Lorenzo Alexander played from 2016 to 2019. Linebacker, special team maven, defensive tackle, Swiss Army knife on the defense, team captain. He was a second team All-Pro and Pro Bowl selection in 2016. He's 20th in team history in sacks with 24, made 279 tackles, 24 sacks, 3 picks, 9 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery in his brief but legendary Buffalo Bills career.
Yeah, dude. I remember when he came, I was like, who is this guy? Like, and he was supposed to be just a special teams player. He came from Washington, I believe.
Yep.
And we had Rex Ryan that year. I believe that was Rex's first year, if I'm not mistaken. And I remember this guy just hustling during preseason.
Hustle is the perfect word.
Yeah.
For it.
He was just a
all
grinder.
hard, brother. All
and
hard.
it's so funny when you look back at his, not only that, go back in time. His story is crazy, guys. So he started off as an offensive lineman, and then he got shifted to defensive lineman, and they kept moving him around to different like positions. And he was actually big,
320 pounds.
Yeah, and he trimmed down, and what we saw was a totally different player. But he was always willing to do whatever it took to win. Whatever it needed for the team. He was a team guy. Like, if that's your definition of a team player, right there. Lorenzo Alexander.
Him and Kyle Williams changed the culture when Sean McDermott came in.
Oh,
they
100%.
found out who he was and what he was about and bought in early and then helped everyone else buy in. He is one of those guys that will forever be a legend in Buffalo for what he did for us. You know, we got him at the end of his career. But man, that guy was special.
He was. Justice, anything on Zoe?
No, man. You know what? It was a blessing. Him and both George Wilson, I would say, both of those two guys together were like the epitome of heart and hustle. And you know, it was really dope to have those guys on our defense because I think they were, again, the heart of our defense. They are what made us special, and what even made us competitive. Because if we didn't have defense back then, it would have been watching the Jaguars, basically. So, I love Lorenzo Alexander.
100%. I got a clip here for Zoe. Go ahead, Mikey. Go ahead.
I say he's a big piece of why we broke that drought.
Yeah.
You know.
Dude.
You know,
100%.
Team captain, and that defense was just awesome.
Yep. Nonstop. All right, here's the clip real quick of Zoe.
Is that where they started calling you one-man gang?
Yeah. So that came from Fred Smoot and Sean Springs. They were just sitting around, man. So, man, you could play a game by yourself, man. We gonna start calling you the one-man gang. So it wasn't a self-given name. It was something that was given to me by the.
Alexander, go get a sack. Go get a sack. Go get a sack. Back the throw. Pressure's ball comes out of his hand. What a story he is at 33 years of age, playing his best football in the twilight of his career.
In his 12th season, Alexander recorded 12.5 sacks, tied for third most in the NFL.
Lorenzo Alexander, the timeout was called for him. Sean McDermott wanted him to be acknowledged one last time by the fans up here in Buffalo.
You guys remember that?
I do.
Season? That was really nice.
Classy move.
Classy move by the coach, man.
Why in the first quarter? I don't.
I'm not sure. Probably just maybe so everyone's there. I have no idea why he did it win, but It's just the fact that he did it that was pretty cool, and it could have been the last game of the season. By the
It
way,
was. It was.
Maybe
And
he wasn't even playing. Yeah,
and I believe that was the year that we did. It was the year after we made the playoffs, so it was our down year.
You're right. It was
and
20.
and all
Yeah.
of them just didn't because
that
him
was
and
Kyle Williams who retired that year, wasn't it?
I think didn't they both retire like at the same time, or did he play one more year?
Kyle Williams, I think, retired at the end of 2017. I don't think he played. Maybe he did play. No, he did. I think he did.
He did play 2018
because he had
so
the
maybe
touchdown.
that was 2019, and they were sitting him because we made the
He
playoffs.
retired Josh's rookie year. I remember that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, that's Zoe, man. Any last words on Zoe, Justice, or Mikey?
No, he deserves a spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so we're moving on to 66. Coming at 66, Bob Chandler. Look at that. Looks like me, man. If I grow my mustache out, I'll be Bob Chandler.
Bob Chandler played from 1971 to 1979, wide receiver. Ranks 8th in team history with 3,999 receiving yards and 5th in TD receptions with 34. He couldn't get that one more yard, to crack that 4,000 mark. His 295 receptions ranked 7th among wide receivers. Before my time, this is actually before I was even born. However, looking at the highlights, and he did that. He put a lot of those numbers up during a real run era as well, because they weren't throwing the ball a ton back in the 70s.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. They ran the ball a lot, actually, in the 60s and 70s. I mean, running was the thing, and he put up good numbers for a team that really an era that wasn't passing. So yeah, solid player. Another player I didn't know too much about, but his stats alone, his longevity in the league, yeah, solid player, man. Anything on him, Justice, or
no, man?
You don't know much about Bob.
Shout out to Bob Chandler, and thank you for doing what you did for the city of Buffalo, sir.
Go get that rookie card. Go get that rookie Bob Chandler card, Justice. All right, we're gonna move on to 65 now. Another old timer here. Harry Jacobs.
Harry Jacobs played from 1963 to 1969. Linebacker, 2-time AFL All-Star, anchored the middle of the Bills' defense during the AFL championship years. 64 middle linebacker. Isn't that just awesome?
Yeah, I certainly don't know anything about them. I'm not going to lie and say I did. Another old-timer that it was an AFL All-Star, so clearly in his era, one of the best at his position. And that's really much all I got to say, because I didn't. Fortunately, I wasn't around for black and white football games. So, Justice, you have anything to say about my man Harry Jacobs?
Shout out to Harry Jacobs.
Right, rocking 64 as a linebacker. Gotta love that.
Yeah. All right, moving on to 64. 64. Jim Haslett, the coach.
Jim Haslett, 1979 to 1985, linebacker, was the NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year in 79 and a member of the NFL's All-Rookie team. First team Sporting News All-Pro in 1980. He played only 91 games for the Bills due to injuries. The guy was promising prospect. Injuries derailed his career. Then turned himself into a pretty decent head coach.
Yeah, not a bad coach. Not great, but
no, decent.
Not a bad, decent coach.
Wasn't he the head gate or the thing where they was like headhunting people? Wasn't
no. That was our old coach, Greg Williams.
And no, I remember Greg Williams was the defense,
and it was their main coach. It was their main coach.
Yeah, it was Peyton during that time.
Okay,
yeah.
Correct.
All right, my bad.
Yep.
But he was the coach during Katrina, right? Jim Haslett?
No, that was Peyton as well. I believe Peyton replaced Haslett.
Yeah. That was that special. It was a special season because they won the Super Bowl.
And that was I think that was Peyton's first year, because he ended up getting Drew Brees, and they weren't sure what it was going to be, right?
Right.
Wasn't like that first couple of years?
Shoulder injury or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami passed on him because they thought he was
stupid
damaged.
He failed the physical.
Dummies.
All right. Moving on. Going to 63 now, guys. 63. And that is the tight end, Pete Metzelaars.
Pete Metzelaars played from 1985 to 1994. Tight end. Member of the Bills' all-time team. Number 1 in team history amongst tight ends in games played. 156 receptions, 302 yards, 29-21, and TDs, 25. He is the gold standard for tight ends within the Bills' history.
Right. So Mikey, just hear that out, guys, okay? For the Buffalo Bills history, okay? I like Pete Metzelaars, and don't get me wrong, but we haven't been a very good tight end team. We weren't. These are facts, guys, and I'm not dogging him. He's 63 on the list, but you can see his numbers. Those aren't overly impressive stats. If Dawson Knox sticks around long enough, he will surpass those stats in time. But he did a lot. He did a lot more than just catch football. He did a lot of good blocking. For Jim Kelly, he did a lot of good blocking for Thurman Thomas. So he did a lot. Like tight ends in Buffalo were always used for blocking. I'll be real with you. A lot of blocking, a lot of schemes. So it wasn't, but when they threw to him, he was reliable. Clearly, He put up the stats. So that's what I got about Pete Metzelaars, and he was with us with the Super Bowl years. And like he's the tight end that always came to my mind. Even later in life when I was thinking about tight ends for Buffalo Bills.
He was awesome in Tech Mobile.
Yeah. Justice, you remember Big Pete?
That's a year before I was born, so. Sorry, Mr. Metzelaars.
Go back and play some Tech Mobile, Justice. You'll learn all about Pete.
Absolutely, come on, man. I played Tech Mobile with my older siblings. Bo Jackson was my guy, so.
All right, so we're gonna go here. Let's go here to number 62. Now, number 62 coming at 62. Steve Freeman, strong safety.
Steve Freeman played from 1975 to 1986. He was a safety. Played 12 seasons for the Bills, and his 178 games are most of any defensive back in team history. He's tied for 7th with 23 interceptions and returned 3 for touchdowns.
Yeah, so he was like our Jordan Boyer back then, right? Micah Hyde. He was a solid safety. Yeah, he was a solid. And look at the years. He played with us over 10 seasons. Played 12 seasons, actually. So, I mean, the dude stuck around. He was a Buffalo Bills, legend, kind of. He's on this list at 62 for a reason because of longevity and for the stats he put up. 7th isn't a lot, but, I mean, it's not always about interceptions. Trey White doesn't get a lot of interceptions, and Trey White is unbelievable. Because of everything else he does. So that's kind of what this guy is. He was a do-it-all kind of safety.
Yeah. If you look at his era also, he went from that run era into the early passing era. So it also could have played into that as well. And safeties weren't the big interception guys back then. They were more of, in the box run helpers.
Yep. Justice, I know Justice is going to say this guy's the man.
Before his time. Thank you for your contribution.
Thank you for your service.
Shout out to my man Steve.
Shout out to Steve.
He was that boy.
Shout out to Steve. All right, we're gonna move on to 61 here, guys. Sorry, some of these guys are old school. Just like Justice. Some of these guys I don't even know. So it is what it is. We can only tell you what they did and the stats. So coming at 61 is Ben Williams.
Ben Williams played from 1976 to 1985. He was a defensive end. 3-time second-team All-Pro, 80, 81, and 83. Pro Bowl selections in 1982. How do you not make the Pro Bowl when you're a second-team All-Pro? Like, the year they made the Pro Bowl, he didn't get All-Pro. Crazy. Ranked 7th in franchise history. Oh, yeah, touche. Ranked 7th in franchise history with 52 sacks. So, a guy who had 52 sacks in his 9-10 year career with us and played during more of the run era But man, gotta respect the game and the numbers he put up.
Yep, another guy.
Sacks in the 70s and 80s is absolutely crazy. So
that's very good. Yeah, right? that dude was coming for you. Like I said, I don't know much about him out of my era, but stats alone, I mean, there's a reason why he was third time All Pro, 80, 81, 83, Pro Bowl selection 82. That dude was the edge that you would want on your team, and that's why he's the number 61 on our list.
I love that he was number 77 too. I love those old numbers, man. Just random numbers.
The
old random numbers.
We're gonna go for another old school player, the ones Justice likes. Here we go, coming in at number 60, Robert James.
Robert James played from 1969 to 1974. He was a cornerback. First team All-Pro in 72, 73, and 74. Three-time Pro Bowl selection, 72, 73, and 74. Career was cut short after 7 years due to a serious knee injury. Because you have to remember, back in those days, you tore your ACL, you were done. There was no repairing it.
Oh yeah. You're screwed. I gotta tell you, it's too bad. Once again, out of my era, but looking at that, first team All-Pro, 72, 73, and 74. I mean, 3 straight seasons, right? 3-time Pro Bowl, 72, 73, 74. If he didn't have that knee injury, who knows what he would do? Like that dude that's telling me right there. And like I said, I don't know much about him. That's dominance from 72, 73, 74. That dude was the best. And then unfortunately probably had
still ascending in his career too.
Right. Who knows what happened? The knee injury could have been horrific.
He was entering his prime after being a 3-time first team All-Pro. Yeah. That's crazy.
That dude was a stud, and that's why he's at 60.
Yeah. Shout out to Rob James. That's impressive.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Because that's impressive. That really is, and that sucks that his career got cut short because of that.
I wish he would have played in today's era, where there was better medicine. And he could
dude, 100%. Who knows what would happen? I mean, look at McGahee's injury.
Yeah,
came back. He was dominant.
If Bo Jackson played in today's era, he would be playing.
That was
absolutely. That's
that was a freak injury though.
Yeah.
All right, coming in.
He literally only injured himself because his legs were so powerful. That is how good Bo Jackson.
He ripped his socket. He ripped his leg out of his socket.
Crazy. Yeah. That's crazy.
And it was just unfortunate. Yeah, it was unfortunate events because I think when they went to put it in, it was like something else happened while they were doing the surgery, and that's when it was just all downfall.
I mean, they didn't have the technology they had, so if he could have just played, 10 years later, he would have been probably would have been the greatest of all time. The dude was special.
All right, coming in at number 59. Number 59, Bryce Pop.
Bryce Pop played from 1995 to 1997 with the Bills. First team All-Pro and NFL's Defensive Player of the Year in 95. 3-time Pro Bowl selection, 95, 96, and 97. 14th in team history in sacks with 33. The dude played 3 years and was a stud all 3 years for the Bills.
Dude, Bryce
He was
Pop,
an impact player.
Yeah, dude. I remember when we got him. I was like, who is it? Because we didn't draft him. He came over as a free agent. And I was like, who? Okay, Bryce Pop. And my God, dude, that guy came out swinging. Like he was nasty.
Sacks in 3 years.
Yeah,
3 sacks in 3 years.
He was nasty when he was with us. He was just, I don't know what else to tell you. Like Bryce Pop was the man. And by the way, he was with Bruce Smith was there, so he was along. Imagine Bruce Smith and this guy coming after you.
I believe Bill Hansen was there too. I don't remember. He ended up going to another team.
He did. But his dominant
I think it was a money thing. He came here, was the NFL Defensive Player of the Year, tore it up, and then wanted to get paid, and went and got paid somewhere else.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Daniel Gary's
hip sockets. Wow.
Daniel Gary's with the comment of the day.
A little bit of a dark humor. Okay, all right, I got you.
Yeah, I know. Bo didn't know hip sockets. I do got a clip here, guys, of Bryce Pop. I'm gonna play for you.
Oh, let's do it.
Yeah, a little Bryce Pop clip.
Harbaugh out of the shotgun, moving to his left, and that is Bryce Pop, who is right in pursuit of Harbaugh. They lose yardage, and that'll bring up 4th down. Houston never saw Bryce Pop. And he is hurt. Or maybe stunned.
As they say, welcome to the NFL.
Second sack of the afternoon for Pop.
Wow.
And down goes Justin again. You know, we could see three quarterbacks for one team in the same game.
And the one thing that they're trying, third string coming into this game.
They need 4, third down. Erickson hanging in there and maybe just a little too long, and Bryce Pop has another sack.
You can't block him with 1. I'm not sure 2's enough. And 3 has been a disaster. And why in the world now are the Colts back in the huddle as the clock?
5 throws, 2nd and 10. Down he goes. And who else? Bryce Pop.
Who else?
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? Yo, that Colts game, 3 quarterbacks. He was killing them all. Harbaugh, you're out.
Is that Jim Harbaugh?
Yeah, it reminds me of finish him.
Oh my God, dude, that one guy the backup,
Justin.
Yeah, dude,
that was crazy. He licked him. Oh my God, that was bad.
He got up and had to go back down. Like, oh, that looked painful, man.
Yeah, that was nasty, man. So nasty. Anything else, guys, on Bryce Pop?
Well deserving at 59. He earned short career at Buffalo, but talk about an impact player.
Yep.
Yeah,
all right, so we're moving on, guys.
He might be a lot higher on this list. So.
Oh, dude, if he would have stuck around, I just think he's one of those players that he had only, some players kind of have longevity and just stay productive. I just think he was one of those guys that his production came quick, fast, and that was it. It ran out, his steam ran out, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, Daniel Garis comes in and says during his third year, he hurt his groin, and he was just never the same after that. Now that happens.
Yeah, it does. All right, going on to number 58, Nate Clements.
Nate Clements played from 2001 to 2006, cornerback. Pro Bowl selection in 2004. He's ranked tied for 7th with 23 interceptions and is tied for 1st with 5 return touchdowns. Made 446 tackles, 12 forced fumbles, and 8 recoveries at corner. 12 forced fumbles at corner. The dude loved to hit.
Oh,
loved
Nate Clements. Yeah, loved dude, I love that's one of my favorite players. He's up there. My favorite is Eric Moles, but he is up there. Nate Clements brung it, man. He brung it every game. That dude was going to lay the smack down, which you guys all know which famous hit he did. And he was a ball hawk too, man. I love Nate Clements, what he did for this team, for this defense. And yeah, man. Justice, anything on Nate?
I remember the Brady hit. I also remember him leaving and going to San Francisco, so I hated him after that. But
yes,
he was a really good quarterback, so well deserving of his ranking here.
But played excellent when he went to the 49ers too. When he went to San Francisco, I was able to go see him a little bit once he came out here because I live out in California. I was able to watch him live, and he was excellent with the Niners too. The dude was he was a special player. He really was.
Yep. I got a clip here of Nasty Nate.
4. Bills show blitz, and here they come. Fiedler unloads. This one's intercepted. Nate Clements. Touchdown. 11 years in the league, can still run people down. Brady in trouble. Here comes the rush, and here's the hit. Man alive. Brady's up. That's good to see, but what looked like a knockout hit by Nate Clements, who played against Brady when they were both in the Big Ten. Clements at Ohio State, Brady at Michigan. Glad to see Brady get up. That was a knockout hit.
That hit gave me chills. That was scary. Right there. I'll tell you what, Brady got right up.
Yeah,
You can put that on a loop, brother. Put that on a loop. I can watch that all day.
And they actually, when if you guys remember the golf tournament, they asked Brady about he's like the one thing he remembers, like the biggest hit he ever had was the Nate Clements hit. He's like, yeah, you guys will all get on me with that, and he never ran like that, bro. Brady learned his lesson,
he didn't
Nate
even
woke
see it
him up.
coming. He didn't see it coming. He was looking inside for one of the big guys, and that little guy just smashed him.
Oh, dude, if that happened today, penalty flags all over.
Yeah.
Even though it's a clean hit,
it would have been ejected because he launched himself and went high.
Yeah, you don't do that to Tom. Oh God, Justice. Anything else on Nate?
Nope. Shout out to my man Nate Clement. Well, not my man, but shout out to Nate Clement.
All right, we're going to move on to number 57 here. Number 57, Frank Lewis. Another
Lewis.
Justice player.
Yeah, Frank Lewis played from 1978 to 1983. He was a wide receiver. Pro Bowl selection in '81. Ranks 5th in team history with 4,638 receiving yards. Ranks 10th in team history with 24 TDs. Another solid wide receiver back in those run slowly transitioning to the pass eras. Gotta respect his game.
Yeah. Just earned a Pro Bowl in '81. He ranks 5th in team history. Think about it. We've had a lot of good receivers, right? Yeah. So ranks 5th in team history with 4,000, a little over 4,000 yards. I mean, what does that tell you?
5 years.
Dude was pretty,
almost 1,000 yards this season.
Right. Yeah. Dude was pretty good, especially in, like Mikey said, a run just transitioning a little bit to passing. No Jim Kelly there, 78 to 83. So I don't know who the quarterback was, but either way, he put up some decent stats, pretty good stats actually. And that's why he's at where he's at 57. And I'm going to give it to Justice where he's going to say,
shout out to my man Frank Lewis.
Shout out to him, man. All right, we're going to get to 56 right now, guys. Coming at number 56, Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Winfield played from 1999 to 2003 with the Bills. Pound for pound, one of the toughest players in the NFL. Made 357 tackles, 6 picks, 2 fumble recoveries in 5 seasons. Signed with the Vikings in the free agency and went on to play 9 years and making 3 more Pro Bowls.
Yeah, Antoine Winfield. If y'all don't know, his son, by the way, plays football for the I believe Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
And is very good. So obviously genes matter. And this dude would hit you. He would hit you. You would feel it.
Just
didn't matter the size.
Too.
Yeah, didn't matter how big you were, tight end, don't matter. That dude was going to lay the wood, and he did it. And I loved his game, man. And he left. He was still good. I think he went to Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken.
Vikings.
Yeah, he was a solid player throughout his history, man. Antoine Winfield, everybody knows him. They know his son now. And, love Antoine Winfield, what he did here. That's why he's at 56.
He was really good with the Bills. He averaged almost 100 tackles a year with us. And then he signed with the Vikings and got better. Went into his prime and made 3 Pro Bowls. The dude, he was an ascending player when he left the Bills, but that happens. So.
Yep. I actually got a clip here of Winfield, and I'll go ahead and play it.
What a tackle! What a tackle by Antoine Winfield, the little guy at 5'9", 180. Roan is 250.
The blitz is on. He makes a nice catch, but then look at Winfield, like a blur, come up and just nail him.
Well, he used to be 250. He's now 240.
Blitz coming. McNair unloads, juggled, and dropped.
Just look at the size difference in these two. Winfield staying right with them. They always tell cornerbacks, keep an eye on somebody's belt buckle.
The wind was brutal, although both teams are used to these conditions. Bills 3 turnovers first half. Look at Antoine Winfield lay the lumber to Terry Glenn. They were teammates at Ohio State.
Yeah, and Glenn takes that hit on improved defense, stopping the run. Here, Fred Taylor back outside, slot double wing open is what we call this. Ball designed to go to him. Great job of tackling. That's Antoine Winfield.
Drew Bledsoe can light it up.
And around Morton.
Boy, is this good defense. This is excellent defense.
Winfield stayed home.
And he told us, he says, I am the best corner tackler in the National Football League. And I don't think there's anybody who's going to dispute that.
Can't argue with that.
No.
I think he's one of the top corners. Just his tackling ability, I think, makes him outstanding, but his cover skills are fabulous.
Yeah, so as you guys see, that he was the dude, that he was not scared of hitting anyone. Great tackler, considered one of the best. I mean, you heard it right there. Like,
Daniel Garies comes in and says, Winfield was my favorite Bills cornerback until Trey came. Great tackler, best tackling cornerback the Bills have ever had. I don't disagree with that. He probably is the best tackling corner we've ever had.
Yeah.
The dude was awesome.
100%.
I was a little young then, so I don't remember physically seeing him, but I do remember hearing his name a ton. In any NFL discussions, Antoine Winfield was very prevalent. And also, my man Bruce Nolan is back again. He actually gave his take on Antoine Winfield.
Antoine Winfield. It should be noted that Antoine Winfield is a place in my brain. He occupies a space in my brain that it's impossible for me to be entirely unbiased. Full disclosure, Antoine Winfield is my favorite Buffalo Bills player of all time. So I'm obviously going to be a little bit biased, but I actually am okay with his ranking on this list. Being where he is in the 50s, being CB7, I can totally understand that. Now, I had a discussion with Joe Marino when he was discussing his all-decades team about whether or not McGee or Antoine Winfield should be there, and ultimately McGee spending more time with the Buffalo Bills and being a kick returner ended up kind of tipping the scales in his favor. But Antoine Winfield, to this day, remains a player that I believe was ahead of his time. We talk about this a lot when it comes to quarterbacks, but I don't think we talk a lot about it when it comes to cornerbacks, because cornerbacks, with the advent of all 22 footage available to the masses, I think the appreciation for something other than ball production has really changed a lot when we evaluate cornerbacks. Antoine Winfield did not have good ball production. 6 interceptions, 5 years. However, he ended up being in top 5 in run stops or run stop percentage over and over and over again throughout his time in Buffalo and in Minnesota. In today's offenses, where you're constantly challenged by this Shanahan-McVay sort of wide zone sort of offensive system, it challenges your cornerbacks to be able to tackle. One of the things that separates Cooper Kupp and the Rams from everyone else is you can have a receiver who can catch 140 balls a year, but also be a really, really, really good blocker that really pushes the envelope where you can be in 11 personnel and run plays like you're in 12. That puts strain on corners. And in today's NFL, someone like Antoine Winfield would be a lot more appreciated than he is now. Back in the day, the discussion on Antoine Winfield was, well, yeah, but he doesn't take the ball away the way Nate Clements does. I think Antoine Winfield was better than Nate Clements, and I'm glad to see that he was ahead of him on this list. So for me, Antoine Winfield is appropriately leveled, but he'll never be appropriate leveled the way it is in my heart.
I love the take.
I could listen to him all day. I love Bruce. And he says it so eloquently. I don't think there's a better way to explain him. And does it surprise you that a cornerback is Bruce's favorite player of the Bills of all time?
I don't blame. Hey, what did I say earlier? He's on there too. One of my favorite players. I got my certain guy, but he's definitely there on my list as part of like who I love as a Buffalo Bill. Justice, any last words before we move on?
Nah, man. Shout out to Antoine Winfield. Shout out to his son too over there balling, and he took his Super Bowl ring away from Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. Appreciate that, bro. Yeah, man.
All right. So we're gonna move on to another Justice guy. Here we go. Coming at number 55, Mike Stratton.
Mike Stratton played from 1962 to 1972. Linebacker, 6-time AFL All-Star, member of the Bills all-time team, 17th in team history in sacks with 31. He played in the 60s and 70s and had 31 sacks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
He's a member of the all-time Bills team.
Yeah. He's
gotta
there for a
respect
reason.
that.
100%. 6-time AFL All-Star. It's like being an All-Pro. It's basically like being an All-Pro. Yeah, and then if the Bills are going to put you on the all team, dude, trust me, there's been a lot of great players. That means this dude brung it, and he brung it for, 10 seasons, 11 seasons. So I don't know much about him, but I know stats don't lie. And looking at that and his accomplishments, yeah, man, he's borderline Hall of Fame probably. I mean, I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't think so, but he's borderline with that.
If you're one of the best players in the league at your position for 60% of your career, then you have to be recognized as one of the better players of Bills history. So, shout out to Mike Stratton.
There you go.
Thank you for your contribution to Buffalo.
I was waiting on that. Now we're going to get to number 54, a player that Justice knows very well. Coming in at number 54, Stevie, why so serious, Johnson.
Stevie Johnson, 2008 to 2013, wide receiver. Probably the best 7th-round pick we've ever had. Ranks 9th with 3,832 receiving yards. Ranks 5th in team history with 301 receptions amongst receivers. Ranks 7th in team history with 28 TDs. Stevie Johnson was electric out of Kentucky. Yep. The dude was – his footwork – I think Stevie Johnson was before his time too, because he played from 2008 to 2013. I think in today's NFL, he would be even better.
He's Antonio Brown.
100%. Yeah, 100%. He
without
was
the craziness.
Different quarterbacks. I think he played with a few.
I think he has most success with Fitz.
Yeah, most success with Fitz, but I know he played with a few, which always makes it tough. And I would like to see go back, because I'm always intrigued with that, because I do it with Molds. How many different coaches he had as well, because a lot of times, like, people don't take that in effect. Like, when you bring in a new coach as a quarterback or receiver, it's a new philosophy, right? Most of the time they're bringing a new coordinator, different game plan, different quarterback. So it is interesting, because you got to think it kind of derails these guys a little bit, right? Whole new scheme, whole new quarterback, play. So for what he did, also, it's not here, but and Diggs will probably get it this year, but he had 3 1,000-yard seasons in a row. So no other Buffalo Bill player has done that except for Stevie Johnson. I think Diggs will get it this season, but that's unbelievable that hasn't been done since Stevie, right? So shout out to Stevie Johnson, man. That dude, I remember he had the long hair coming in when he first arrived in Kentucky. I'm like, who is this guy? 7th round. And I always pay attention to, it doesn't matter, any player, because that's what we do as Bills Mafia. We always root for, like, the underdog, the 6th round, the 7th round. We always want to know what the story is with this guy. And he looked good in Kentucky. So it was interesting that we got him so late. And yeah, man, he came around.
He's one of those fan favorites that all the Mafia loves that actually panned out.
Yeah.
The Duke Williamses and those type of guys that were like, oh, we saw how special he could be, but he never pans out. Stevie Johnson panned out.
Yep. We actually got a clip here from Jay Spence talking about Stevie.
That he was the one guy that really was able to bring a love and a coolness to Buffalo, like during a time when it wasn't cool. We were going through some things, and I know we had T.O. for the one season, and I know, but when you really think about it consistently, Stevie Johnson was that guy. He was the guy doing the Tim Hortons commercials. He was the guy out there partying and doing everything that made Buffalo a place to be. And, I think coupled with his performance on the field, I think that's the reason why you have to look at Stevie Johnson and consider him one of the best receivers that the Buffalo Bills have had. He's one of those guys that, he made it fun to watch every week. You were looking forward to not only him having big games and scoring touchdowns, but you look forward to the celebrations afterwards. You look forward to him lifting his shirt up and having "Why So Serious" on his shirt, or you look forward to a lot of different things. Stevie Johnson, he did what all the best players in the league did, and that's bring excitement to a team. And nobody during that time did it better than Stevie Johnson. In today's NFL, you look at a lot of the wide receivers we have one on our team now. You can look at Stephon Diggs. I'm not saying that they are the same receiver, but when you're talking about receivers with great footwork and great route running ability, the first one that comes to mind as a Buffalo Bills fan should be Stevie Johnson. He laid the blueprint for a lot of these guys who are great route runners. He is the route tree. That's how I always refer to him when I speak about him. He's that guy. Stevie Johnson's that guy. So if he would have had a capable quarterback, with all due respect to Ryan Fitzpatrick, if he would have had a great quarterback, I think the sky would have been the limit for this guy. We probably would have seen the same type of things that we're seeing from Stephon Diggs. That's how dynamic Stevie Johnson was. That's how difficult it was to cover him. He could make anybody miss him in a phone booth, and that's, it's just not easy to find. We see it more often now. You got guys like Devontae Adams and Renfro and all these other guys, but Stevie was doing it before it was like the thing to have footwork and to have the best, most crisp, clean routes. That's Stevie Johnson.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Very well said. I do got a clip here, guys, of Stevie that I want to play here real quick, and I know Justice will like this one.
Stevie Johnson, first player in Buffalo team history, 3 straight seasons of 1,000 yards or more receiving.
He's the one guy that scored a touchdown against Revis in all of last season. Stevie Johnson, he's got the basketball background, and that was just a great move to the hoop.
Fitzpatrick looks that way, and the end zone! Touchdown! Stevie Johnson again! 300 yards passing today. Play action. Fitzpatrick over the middle, wide open! Stevie Johnson, touchdown!
Stevie Johnson's making him pay.
3rd touchdown reception.
Physically unable to perform a list with that bum hip. Ryan Fitzpatrick get a nice hit. Michael Steve.
Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! What a play and what a move! 28 yards. Why so serious?
I remember that one. And do you guys remember the other one that he did of the Giants receiver that got shot in the leg?
Oh,
the Plexico Burris.
Yeah, I do.
And he got fined for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He pretended he got shot in the leg.
If you watch that clip, nobody was within 3, 4, 5 yards of him on every play. The dude was always open.
Earl.
It was crazy.
By the way, I do remember this.
Yeah,
funny story though.
Look, I get it.
Funny story
I
about that
understand.
though. Yeah, go ahead. No, I was going to say that's how Bill's Mafia kind of started. If you guys read the history of Bill's Mafia, that drop, he said something, and I think Del Reed and them, they quoted something about that, and they started the Bill's Mafia right there. Like that was on that play. So if you go back and read like the history of that, how Bill's Mafia started, it was from the Stevie Johnson drop. And then Stevie got a lot of heat because he was saying something about God, like he wanted to have him drop it or something like that. And right around there, he was meant, and something with Bill's Mafia started, and that's how. But you guys got to go read the page, Buffalo fan base page, and it'll tell you how Mafia. But it was around that Stevie Johnson play. It had to do with that. So, but go ahead, Justice.
Oh yeah, man. I was just gonna say that first of all, just Stevie Johnson is the guy, right? Anytime I was watching a football game, and by years of watching football, he's probably the 3rd best receiver I've ever watched in the Bills uniform, behind Eric Moulds and I would say Stephon Diggs. I'm confident in saying that. I think he was better than Terrell Owens in the Bills uniform at least.
Oh yeah,
and I think Stevie Johnson is a Hall of Fame talent if you give him a consistently good quarterback. If you look at guys like Marvin Harrison, who had Peyton Manning throws him his whole career, or if you look at guys like these other guys who were Isaac Bruce or Torrey Holt, who had Kurt Warner, and you know what I mean, like they had these Hall of Fame quarterbacks throwing them the football. And don't get me wrong, they're obviously freaks of nature. I just think that if Stevie Johnson would have had a quarterback of that magnitude, he would have been the guy, and he would have had potentially a Hall of Fame career. So, yeah.
He comes in at 54 for a reason. you know, if you think about it, like Stevie Johnson was a special receiver that we got late, that helped drive our fandom. He was fun to watch. Like that was in some bad times for Buffalo, and he was just so much fun to watch every week. And he always looked like he's having so much fun playing. Just got to respect it.
100%. The drought years were. I always said it, man. I feel bad for those players, man. That stuck around.
And I'm not holding that Steelers drop over his head because he did too many great things for our team for that to be his lasting legacy. And
Listen, earlier,
that's the reason why I even have this position now. So shout out to Stevie Johnson.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Earlier in this episode, I was told it's time to let things go and respect the guys for what they had. Right? It's time to let the drop go and respect Stevie for what he was. And he ranks number 54 on the all-time list, and probably could have been higher if he had a better quarterback. Special player.
100%. All right, we're moving on to number 53, Mikey. Here we go. Number 53, Phil Hansen.
Phil Hansen played from 1991 to 2001. 1991 all-rookie team selection, ranks third in team history with 61.5 sacks. Playing next to Bruce Smith for most of his career. Has 150. His 156 games are fourth most among defensive linemen. Totally overshadowed by Bruce Smith, but you know, got to respect this man's career. He was a fantastic defensive end for us.
Oh, dude, that dude was a beast. He was a dog. He was a tough SOB. Was with us a long time, 11 seasons, I believe. And like you said, man, he was with Bruce Smith. I mean, Bruce Smith was that dude. So kind of tough to, you know, he got a little outshadowed by him, but he did his job and he did it very, very well. And he came to work. He brought his lunchbox, his hard hat, whatever you want to call it. And he put up numbers, and he was there for a long time.
Think about this. Bruce
teams.
Bruce Smith had 200 sacks in his career, and this dude was still able to carve out 61 in hits.
Yeah, it's very impressive. 100%.
That's
and look at that, 156 or fourth most among defensive linemen. So I mean, that dude came, man. That dude came. He brung it. You know, he was a tough, like I said, tough SOB, man.
Yeah,
he brought it year after year. So shout out to my man Phil Hansen.
There you go. I was waiting on that, man. All right, we're gonna move on to number 52 now. Coming in at number 52 is Mario Red Eyes Williams.
Super Mario.
Super Mario.
Right.
Played from 2012 to 2015. Two-time All-Pro and Pro Bowl selection in 13 and 14. Ranks 9th in team history in sacks with 43. Had double-digit sacks in his first 3 seasons, including 14.5 in 2014. 4th best in team history. This guy was a monster when we signed him and was ruined by Rex Ryan trying to make him an outside linebacker.
I was going to say 43 sacks in 3-4 years is ridiculous. And not only that, but he should have had way more if he was just rushing the passer responding season like he should have been. That's insane.
And his last year, he didn't have double-digit sacks because Rex Ryan used him as an outside linebacker stand-up guy and didn't let him rush like he should have.
I remember when we got him, Mikey, from Texans, former, I believe, first-round pick.
Big contract.
Overall.
And, besides, I would say Drew Bledsoe was up there. Like, you know, we were talking about, like, you know, when Von Miller came, first thing I thought on my mind was Mario Williams and then Drew Bledsoe, as far as the biggest free agent signings, like, that I recall. And Mario Williams was just like, when he came to Buffalo, I was like, oh, my God, like, this is the dude. Like, that was our Von Miller back then. Like, he was, and he brung it. It wasn't like we got him here, gave him the money, and he just was a shell of himself. No, he brung it.
He was a monster.
Yeah, and by the way, and when we drafted Gregory Rousseau, I said they are very alike in size, man. If Gregory Rousseau can bulk up a little bit, I believe he was 6'7", if I'm not mistaken, or 6'6". Gregory Rousseau was like 6'6", 7". And I think he came in at 220 or something like that. They're very close to weight, very close. Both very long arms. If Gregory Rousseau can get
body type
kind of like this, yeah, if he can get on that Mario Williams type, you know, body weight, muscles, add a little bit of muscle as well, teams are going to have a problem against us. And I already believe that anyways, but this is, I'm hoping Gregory Rousseau works out to be like a Mario Williams for this defense, because that would be phenomenal.
Wonderful. That'd be wonderful.
Yep.
Looks like
I remember Mario when he came in, because he played on that D line with Darius and Williams and Jerry Hughes. Remember, those four just wreaked havoc for those couple of years. We didn't have an offense to go with them, but that defensive line was scary.
That was always the problem with this team, right? We always were missing something. Coach, this, that, quarterback, right? Like always something. And now we finally got it all together. I actually got a clip of Mario, so we'll go ahead and play that for you guys.
It's not just Mario Williams' eyes that have opponents wondering if he's from this galaxy. It's everything about him. In his 9th season as a pro, Williams performed on a new level. His 14.5.
Well, having Cal and Marcel, I mean, it's definitely an advantage. I feel like we can come in here and make things happen because it all starts up front.
Deflected once again by Mario Williams.
Williams following up his 3-sack performance last Sunday.
2nd and 9 now for Houston. 176 total yards for Houston on offense. Schaub is sacked, and guess who? Mario Williams.
From the gun, Cobb. Under pressure, sacked again. Mario Williams.
Mario Williams gets his mitts on it for Buffalo. Mario Williams falling.
Yeah, he would just bull rush. Get out of my way.
You see that right tackle, Chiefs, yo? Thank you, exactly, Mikey. That right tackle literally could not keep his balance. Like, that's ridiculous, man.
He just picked him up and moved him.
Literally.
I'm like,
I remember.
I felt bad.
I remember Mario Williams, like, because I thought it was always funny that we had Reggie Bush and Mario Williams, the top 2 picks from that draft.
Right.
I believe we also had Matt Leinart as well, if I'm not mistaken. I think he was in preseason. Or was it Vince Young? Anyway.
We ended up having both of them. They both ended up playing Vince Young and Matt Leinart.
Cool. Okay, so I remember it was those top picks all played for the Bills at some point in their career. But Mario Williams was like so special, man. Like, again, we came off of having Aaron Schobel and Ryan Denny, who were awesome. And then after that, it was kind of like, who's going to step up? Mario Williams comes in and he stepped up, him. And I believe it was Lorenzo Alexander. Was it? Did he play with him? I feel like they were on.
I think they overlapped for 1 year. I think.
Okay, because I do remember just the like.
No, because Zoe came in on Rex's
year. I don't remember who was on the opposite side.
No, the first year of Rex was Mario's last year, and that was the first year of Alexander. They overlapped that 1 year.
Correct.
Okay. And that was the year he had 12.5 sacks, right?
No, I think the next year was the year that he got all the sacks because that year Mario played outside, and then Zoe ended up taking that spot because that was Hughes, Darius, Williams, and Mario. So it was Kyle. So that was the fourth time.
It was Jerry Hughes was on the other side. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, Scott coming in with the hot.
I'm not mad at that, Scott. I'm not mad at that. If he would have stayed longer and if he wouldn't have been ruined by Rex Ryan, I fully believe he would have ended up.
Yeah. I you're gonna have to see when the list continues, and then you'll understand why he's not top 25. Because listen, guys, I told you this when we did 100 through 76, and people were like, "Oh, and I said, watch when we get to 75 through 51. You're gonna go, "Oh my God, that guy was good. Oh my God, that guy was good. Wow." And then you're going to see now, you'll see 50 through 31 that we're going to do next Monday. And you're going to go, oh, my God. I can see why. Like, so you got to understand why we put these guys where we put them, because it just keeps getting better and better and better. The talent and what we did. And that's why they're at where they're at on this list. Anything else on Mario, guys, before we move on?
Actually, we got sorry.
Nice.
Bruce Nolan. I'm sorry, guys.
Bruce. Got more Bruce.
Yeah, more Bruce. I believe this is Bruce's last one. So
I do not think that Mario Williams is a player that is treated with the proper respect by a lot of Bills fans, because they imagine the big contract and they somehow forget the rest of it, but they remember the way it ended. Number one, the reason why it ended the way it ended is because Rex Ryan wanted Mario Williams to play 3-4 outside linebacker and drop into coverage. Now, at the time, we might have viewed that as being a knock on Mario Williams, but in retrospect, we should view that as a knock on Rex Ryan and not utilizing his pieces correctly. And if Rex Ryan hadn't come to town, you probably could have gotten 1, 2, 3 more years of productive ability from Mario Williams. He absolutely lived up to his contract here in Buffalo. At the time, it was 6 years, $96 million, the highest paid defensive player in football. I hate to break it to you, he lived up to his contract, and he was good here. Now, I don't think he's as underappreciated as Aaron Schobel was, but I think that there's a little of, sour grapes when it comes to Mario Williams. But Mario Williams being in the 50 range where he is, I have no problem with that, because the fact of the matter is, from the moment he stepped on the field as a Buffalo Bill, he was one of the best pass rushers in football. And for a team that hasn't had a ton of elite level pass rushers over the course of their history, Mario Williams deserves to be where he's at.
Yeah, another great take by Bruce, man. He's 100% correct, man. 100% correct. Rex Ryan definitely dropped the ball there when it came to Mario Williams. And Mikey actually touched on that when we first started talking about this.
Sure did.
All right, guys, we're going to move on to the last one of the night, number 51, and here we go. Number 51, John Fina.
My guy.
Yeah.
It is just this guy.
No, he really is my guy. Like, I have his number and everything. Shout out.
And I know. Actually, guys, real quick before Mikey gets on him, they've actually had shows together. I know John Fina has joined you a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Really good guy. I know early on the media said supposedly, like back in the day when he was a Buffalo Bill, he was tough. He didn't really give the media enough time. But I don't know. Everything I've seen from him now, he loves coming on podcasts talking about the history of the Buffalo Bills and the current state of the Buffalo Bills. So go ahead, Mikey.
Yep. John Fina played from 1992 to 2001, offensive tackle, franchise left tackle. Anchored the Bills' left side for 9 seasons, including the 93 and 94 Super Bowl runs. Started 131 of 148 games playing for the Bills. Started 10 of his 11 seasons with the Bills. Played 10 of his 11 seasons with the Bills. So he only played 1 season outside of Buffalo. I'll tell you, John Fina, when I think of offensive tackle play, because I grew up in really in that era, that Super Bowl era. That was when I was probably around 10. John Fina was what I thought of what a offensive lineman should be. It's fun to be able to watch him hop on and do these shows, because he does some over on Rumblings with our buddy Joe Miller with the John Fina show. I love that he's still part of the Mafia, and he loves it. He loves them. And it's awesome that he still hangs out and gives back to the fans that loved him.
Yep. And I actually got a clip here from Jay Spence talking about John Fina.
Creates content alongside of Joe Miller for the Off Tackle show with John Fina. And the thing that that I will speak to is that he's just an incredible personality. And one of those things that I think is undervalued when you look at the teams that he played on was locker room presence. And outside of him being a phenomenal tackle, like I said, there's going to be I know on this thing we're going to have people talking about certain blocks and the athleticism that he had and all that stuff, and they're right, 100% correct. This guy was the guy, but his locker room presence and everything that he means to every player that I've spoken to that he played with, he was the guy that he was the glue for the offensive line, but he was also the glue for the offense. All the way up until he retired, or actually not retired, but all the way up until he stopped playing with Buffalo, when we had Doug Flutie filling in for Rob Johnson. John Fina was the glue on those offensive lines and in those offensive rooms. He's the guy that a lot of people, now we see him and he's handsome and, I get it. He's that, John Fina was that dude, man. And it's mostly because, like I said, he had all the athleticism. He made the right plays. He did the right things, but he was the glue. And to me,
a little technical difficulty there at the end, but yeah, basically he's 100% correct. Like, it all starts in the trenches, and those dudes are just extremely tough, man. You got to be listen, to make it in this league that long. You got to be tough. You got to be a tough guy, and to last that long, to different quarterbacks, to protect and be that good, speaks volume, and that's why he's where he's at on this list.
Absolutely. I think Scott Blakely says the best inside the chat. He's like, Fino is a beast on and off the field, class all the way. I mean, he is, and now that he's retired, he's given back by doing all these podcasts and shows to show the Mafia how much he loves them as well. He's still a Bill through and through, and I love that about him.
Yeah. We lost Justice. He just messaged me. His computer froze. It happens.
Yep.
This is technology, guys, and he was on for an hour 40. I'm surprised our computers don't freeze because we do these long shows, and we do appreciate you guys once again sticking with us on these. And we knew these were going to be a little long, and generally, honestly, we kind of run this long anyways. This is how me and Mikey do. Like, very rare you come to a Mafia Sports Report live show where we're doing an hour and that's it, right? Like, we're always running an hour and a half, somewhere around there. So we appreciate you guys once again for sticking around. We will be having 50 through 31 on Monday, 9 p.m. So I hope you guys come once again. If not, I always put up on Mafia Sports Report, I always break it down and put each player that we talked about. So you guys, if you guys missed it or you guys want to go back and watch, I do individual players. So, Mikey, any last words for everyone?
We appreciate you. Hopefully I was better this week, Tommy. I got some sleep, got some rest. I was jazzed for this one. I was super excited about doing this breakdown, and then the first week you caught me on a bad day. So we appreciate all the guys that ride with us. We saw some new people pop into the show.
We did, yeah. You want to do the shout outs real quick? I always do them. You do them. Go ahead.
I gotta go back to the top. So we had Chris break down Buffalo, Daniel Garies, Earl Scott, Scott Blakely, Chewy was in here. I know there's a bunch more, but we appreciate everything you guys do. Come and riding with us. There's a lot of content creators out there that you could follow. The fact that you guys decided to spend your Monday nights with me and Tommy and help drive the show, we really appreciate you guys. And get ready, buckle up. We're less than a couple weeks away from training camp kicking off and the Bill season getting ready to rock and roll.
100%. We got 3 more episodes of this, and then we'll be right back talking about current stuff and training camp and preseason, and the regular season guys will creep up on us before you know it, and me and Mikey will be here. And by the way, real quick, speaking of Monday nights, our shows, when the regular season starts back up, me and Mikey will be doing our show will be after Monday Night Football. So we'll give you the exact time, but probably around 11:15ish, somewhere around there Eastern time. So we won't be on our normal 9:00 slot once the season starts. But hey, if you're up, cool, watch it. If not, you'll see it on replay the next day. Yeah, 100%. And then also, guys, me and Mikey are actually in works on having a fantasy football show. That's going to be on Saturdays. Right now, we're thinking about 1:00. So I hope you guys join. And that will be, it's not really just Buffalo Bills related. It's all football. It's fantasy football related. And we're going to actually have our own league. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll give you guys some tips and tricks and all that crap about the fantasy football world.
Or you can come laugh at us if we suck.
Yeah, exactly. And you guys are going to know our league. We'll give you updates. And if I'm 0-5, obviously don't listen to my advice. So, but I am 3-time champion, and Mikey does have a belt for his league, the one he played in. So we know our stuff. At least I think I do. So join us for that. Saturday AFC East Shakedown. That is, and by the way, guys, I found a Jets guy to do the AFC East Shakedown. So now we are complete. All 4 content creators for each team So I'm excited for that. And yeah, that's it. And we're going to be doing post game. So a lot going on when the regular season hits. And watch for me on Twitter. Watch for Mikey on Twitter. We will be announcing each thing as that when it's set in stone. How about that?
Yep.
So anyways, let me get out of here, guys. I appreciate you guys once again for sticking around. And yeah, we're going to give you the best outro of any Buffalo Bills channel. Peace out and go Bills.
Go Bills.
The Bills make me want to shout. Go Bills. Peace out, guys. See you next Monday.